You need to move 10 miles, maybe to reach supplies, maybe to get to family, maybe to evacuate to a safer area. The destination doesn't matter. What matters is that between here and there, every major road is controlled by gangs. They've set up checkpoints at intersections. They're patrolling routes. They're taxing travelers, robbing the weak, recruiting the useful, and disappearing the rest. The roads aren't public infrastructure anymore. They're gang territory, and you're about to walk through it. Most people don't make it. They take the obvious route because it's fastest. They walk main roads because that's what roads are for. They assume they can talk their way through checkpoints or run if things go bad. They're wrong on all counts. Their bodies end up in ditches, or they disappear into forced labor, or worse. 10 miles in normal times is a 3-hour walk. 10 miles through gang territory is a 12 to 24-hour tactical operation that requires planning, patience, and the constant understanding that one mistake gets you killed or captured. You're not taking a walk. You're conducting an infiltration through hostile territory. Every decision matters. Every shortcut is a gamble. Every sound you make is a risk. This isn't about speed. It's about arriving alive. Here's how to cross 10 miles on foot when every road has gangs. The planning, the movement, the psychology, and the tactics that separate the people who make it from the people who don't. Understanding gang territory control, know what you're walking into. Before you take a single step, you need to understand how gangs control territory and where the actual danger zones are. Because not every mile is equally dangerous. Some areas are heavily patrolled and fortified. Others are claimed, but barely monitored. Your route depends on identifying the difference. Gangs control roads for resources and power. Roads are where travelers move. Travelers have supplies. Supplies are wealth. Control the roads, control the wealth. It's that simple. They establish checkpoints at key intersections. Not every intersection, the ones that matter. Major crossroads where multiple routes converge. Bridges that force everyone through a single point. Elevated positions that provide visibility and defensive advantage. These checkpoints are manned constantly. Multiple people, armed, watching both directions. You can't sneak past a well-maintained checkpoint. You can't fight through one. You avoid it entirely or you fail. Between checkpoints, they run patrols. Groups of 2 to 5 people walking or driving routes on irregular schedules. The patrols serve multiple purposes. They catch people trying to avoid checkpoints. They respond to problems. They show presence to deter challenges to their control. Patrols are the weak point. They're spread thin. They can't be everywhere at once. They follow patterns even when trying to be random. And between patrol passes, routes are unwatched. Those gaps are your windows. Gang territory has depth. The main roads are heavily controlled. 1 block off main roads, control is lighter. 2 blocks off, it's minimal. They can't cover everything, so they prioritize high-traffic areas and let peripheral areas stay loosely monitored. This creates a gradient. Maximum danger on main roads. Decreasing danger as you move into side streets, alleys, and off-road routes. Your job is to plan a route that stays in the low-danger gradient while still moving toward your destination. Territory boundaries are where different gangs meet. These are the most dangerous zones. Both sides patrol heavily. Neither trusts the other. Shooting starts easily. You're caught between 2 hostile forces, and both will assume you're with the other side. Avoid boundaries entirely. Cross gang territories deeply inside their control, where they feel secure, not at edges where they're paranoid. Route planning. The path less traveled is the path less dead. You're not taking roads. Roads are kill zones. You're building a route that uses everything except roads, alleys, backyards, vacant lots, parks, stream beds, railroad tracks, anything that moves you forward while keeping you off gang-controlled infrastructure. Start with a map if you have one. Mark known gang positions, checkpoints you've observed or heard about, areas where you've seen patrols, territory boundaries. These are your no-go zones. Now mark alternative paths. Every alley, every gap between buildings, every park, every non-road route. You're building a network of movement corridors that avoid gang positions. Connect these corridors into a route. It won't be straight. It'll zigzag, backtrack, and take 3 times longer than the direct path. That's fine. Arrival time doesn't matter. Arrival does. The route should have decision points, places where you can choose multiple directions based on what you observe. If path A looks compromised, you take path B. Flexibility keeps you alive. Rigid plans get you killed when situations change. Identify rest points along the route. Places you can stop, hide, observe, and recover. Not every mile, but every 2 to 3 miles. You need breaks, you need to reassess, you need positions where you can do that safely. Mark water sources if it's a long crossing. You're walking for potentially 24 hours. You need hydration. Know where you can refill safely or carry enough to complete the journey. Identify danger zones you can't avoid. Maybe there's a river with only one bridge. Maybe there's an open area with no cover. These are your highest risk segments. You plan extra carefully for these and cross them at optimal times. Time your route for darkness. Moving at night reduces visibility for observers. You're harder to see, harder to identify, harder to target. The trade-off is you can't see as well either, but concealment is worth the navigation difficulty. Memorize the route. Don't rely on constantly checking a map. That makes you look lost and suspicious. You know the route. You know your decision points. You navigate from memory and observation. Pre-movement preparation, loadout and mindset. What you carry and how you carry it determines your mobility and survivability. Travel light. Every pound slows you down and tires you out. 10 miles with a 40-pound pack is brutal. 10 miles with a 15-pound pack is manageable. Choose what's essential. Water, minimal food, first aid, weapon if you have one, and nothing else. Wear neutral, worn clothing, nothing new, nothing tactical, nothing that suggests you have resources. You look like everyone else who's struggling. Gray, brown, black, dirty, forgettable. The goal is to blend in if you're seen, not to stand out. Footwear is critical. Boots or shoes that fit well are broken in and can handle 10 miles of varied terrain. New shoes create blisters. Blisters slow you down and cause infections. Wear what you know works. Pack everything quietly. No metal clanking. No items shifting and making noise. Duct tape anything that might rattle. You're a silent mover. Noise gets you detected. Water in multiple containers. If one leaks, you don't lose everything. Small bottles are quieter than large ones sloshing. Food that doesn't require cooking. Energy bars, jerky, nuts, anything shelf-stable and ready to eat. You're not stopping to cook. You're eating while moving or during brief rest stops. Weapon concealed if you have one. Visible weapons attract attention and challenge. Concealed weapons are available if needed, but don't advertise your capability. If you're unarmed, improvised weapons like a knife or club stay hidden but accessible. A small flashlight or headlamp with red lens. White light destroys your night vision and broadcasts your position. Red light preserves night vision and is less visible from distance. Basic first aid. Bandages, antiseptic, pain relievers. You might get cut, scraped, or injured. Minor injuries treated immediately don't become major problems later. Minimal cash or trade goods if you absolutely must interact with someone. But keep it hidden. Most of your valuables stay cached elsewhere. You're traveling poor. Mental preparation is as important as physical. You're committed to this movement. You're not turning back unless the route is completely compromised. Hesitation and second-guessing waste time and energy. You decided to go. Now you go. Movement tactics, how you move, determines if you're seen. Movement isn't just walking, it's tactical displacement through hostile territory. Never move on main roads, ever. No exceptions. Main roads are where gangs are. You use everything else. Alleys are better than streets. Backyards are better than alleys. Off-road is best. Move along edges, not through centers. Walk next to walls, fences, buildings. Edge movement provides cover and concealment. Center movement exposes you from all directions. Stop, look, listen. You move in segments. Move 50 feet, stop, observe. Look for movement, people, vehicles. Listen for voices, engines, footsteps. If it's clear, move another segment. Use cover and concealment constantly. Cover stops bullets. Concealment hides you from view. You're always positioned near both. If something happens, you're behind cover in 2 steps. Cross open areas at angles, not straight across. Angled crossing reduces time exposed. Straight crossing maximizes exposure. If possible, avoid open areas entirely by going around. Move during optimal times: early morning before sunrise, late evening after sunset, mid-afternoon when gang members are resting and activity is lowest. Avoid peak activity hours mid-morning and early evening when patrols are most active. Your pace is controlled, not running unless actively fleeing, not strolling like you're on a walk. Purposeful walking that covers ground without attracting attention. Someone with somewhere to be, but not panicking to get there. Footsteps are quiet. Heel-toe placement on smooth surfaces. Step on solid parts of terrain, not loose gravel or twigs. Test footing before committing weight. You move silently because silence is survival. If you hear vehicles, you hide immediately. Vehicles mean gangs in most collapse scenarios. You don't wait to see if they're friendly. You get out of sight and stay hidden until they pass. If you see people ahead, you stop and assess. How many? Armed? Moving with purpose? Or loitering? Can you avoid them? If yes, detour. If no, decide whether to wait for them to move or proceed with extreme caution. Reading gang behavior. Understanding what you're observing. When you inevitably encounter gang presence, you need to read the situation accurately. Are they actively patrolling? Are they distracted? Are they settling in for a long stay or about to leave? Active patrols move with purpose. They're scanning their environment. They're communicating with each other. They're alert. You don't cross paths with active patrols. You wait or detour. Distracted gangs are arguing, eating, focused on something else. They're not watching their surroundings carefully. These are opportunities. You can move through their peripheral areas while they're occupied, but it's risky. Distractions end suddenly. Checkpoint behavior tells you staffing levels. Are they stopping everyone or waving people through? Stopping everyone means they're serious and well-staffed. Waving people through means they're bored or undermanned. Neither is safe, but undermanned checkpoints have blind spots. Body language indicates threat level. Relaxed posture means they feel secure and unthreatened. Tense posture means something's happening or they're expecting trouble. If they're tense, stay far away. That area is about to get violent. Group dynamics matter. Are they coordinating smoothly or arguing? Smooth coordination means experienced, disciplined organization. Arguments mean internal conflict and distraction. Both are dangerous for different reasons. Time of day changes behavior. Morning shifts are alert. Mid-afternoon, they're tired and bored. Evening brings fresh energy or handoff chaos. Night brings either heightened alertness or reduced presence depending on gang resources. You adapt timing to their patterns. High-risk segments, the unavoidable danger zones. Some parts of your route are inherently dangerous. You can minimize risk, but can't eliminate it. These segments require maximum caution and optimal timing. Bridges are natural checkpoints. They're choke points gangs control because everyone has to use them. If there's a bridge on your route, you either cross it at the lowest traffic time, usually 3-4 a.m., or you find another way across. Wade the river if it's shallow. Use debris to improvise a crossing upstream or downstream where gangs aren't watching. Open areas with no cover. Parks, parking lots, wide streets. You cross these only when visibility is worst. Fog, rain, darkness. Never in clear daylight. If you must cross in daylight, you observe for 15 minutes first to confirm no watchers. Territory boundaries, where one gang's area meets another. These are watched by both sides. Shootouts happen here. You identify boundaries and route around them. Add a mile to your journey if needed. That mile is cheaper than walking into a gang war. Former commercial areas, shopping districts, malls, business centers. These are looted heavily in early collapse, but then become gang strongholds because of the infrastructure. They have supplies, buildings to hold, and reasons to defend. Avoid them completely. Residential neighborhoods are mixed. Some are organized into defensive communities. Others are abandoned. Others are gang-controlled. You can't always tell from a distance. You probe carefully. Watch for signs of organization and retreat if it feels wrong. For every high-risk segment, you have an abort plan. If the bridge is too heavily guarded, where do you go? If the open area has unexpected activity, which direction do you retreat? You're never committed to crossing something that proves impossible. Flexibility and survival instinct override the plan. What to do if you're spotted? Despite all precautions, you might get spotted. Someone sees you, they shout, they approach. You have seconds to decide how to respond. First, assess distance and cover. Are they 100 feet away? You might run and break line of sight. Are they 20 feet away? Running triggers chase. You need a different strategy. If they're distant and you have cover nearby, you disappear. Fast movement to break line of sight, then complete stop and silence. Don't keep running. You vanish and they lose track. Most people keep running and get followed. Stop and hide beats continuous flight. If they're close and armed, hands go visible. No sudden movements. You're not a threat. You're not reaching for anything. Hands up, visible, empty. I don't want trouble, just passing through. Your goal is de-escalation and escape, not confrontation. They ask where you're going, you give a vague answer. North, looking for family. Not specific, not challenging, not interesting enough to detain you over. They want your supplies. You're carrying minimal anyway. You give up the obvious stuff, the pack, the water bottle on your belt, whatever they can see. The hidden items stay hidden. You've been robbed, but you survive and move on. If they want to recruit you or detain you, you comply initially while looking for escape opportunities. You don't fight superior numbers head-on. You wait for distraction, for them to relax, for an opening. Then, you bolt. If they threaten violence and you're cornered, that's different. That's defense situation. Weapon out if you have one, improvised weapon if you don't, and you fight like your life depends on it, because it does. But you fight to create escape opportunity, not to win. You hurt them enough to run, then you run. After any encounter, you alter your route. They know your direction. They might pursue or set up ahead. You detour, you delay, you change the plan. The original route is compromised. Rest and recovery points. Managing exhaustion. 10 miles sounds manageable. It's not when you're carrying weight, moving tactically, constantly stressed, and potentially not having slept well. Exhaustion degrades decision-making. You need rest points. Every 2-3 miles, you find a hide position, somewhere concealed with visibility of approaches. Inside an abandoned building, under dense brush, behind walls, anywhere you can sit down unseen, you rest 10-15 minutes. Drink water. Eat something. Let your heart rate come down. Let the adrenaline fade. Close your eyes if it's safe. You're recharging so the next segment is done well. During rest, you're listening constantly. Rest doesn't mean lower guard. It means your body stops while your mind stays alert. You assess injuries or problems. Blisters forming? Address them now before they cripple you. Gear rubbing wrong? Adjust it. Small problems fixed during rest don't become major failures later. You review the next segment. What's ahead? What's the plan? What are the risks? Mental rehearsal improves execution. If you're badly behind schedule and fatigue is becoming dangerous, you find a place to sleep for 2 to 3 hours. This is risky, but necessary. Exhausted people make fatal mistakes. Better to sleep hidden and resume when you're functional than push through and stumble into a checkpoint because you can't think straight. The hide position for sleep needs multiple security measures, concealed from all angles, acoustic warning systems, position where you can't be surprised. It's not comfortable, it's safe. Psychological management. The mental game. 10 miles through hostile territory is psychologically brutal. Fear, stress, exhaustion, and isolation combine to break people mentally. You manage fear by focusing on the present, not the miles ahead, not what might happen, just the current 100 feet. Move this segment, then the next. Break the journey into pieces small enough that they don't overwhelm you. Every segment completed is progress. You made it through that alley. Success. You crossed that street unseen. Success. You're accumulating wins. The wins build confidence. Accept that you're scared. Fear is appropriate. The situation is dangerous. Feeling fear means your threat assessment is accurate. Don't fight the fear. Use it. Let it keep you sharp. Manage internal dialogue. I can't do this becomes I'm doing this right now. That's too far becomes just to that tree. You're your own coach. Negative self-talk kills motivation. Positive self-talk sustains it. Loneliness if you're solo. No one to talk to. No one to share the burden. It's crushing. You manage it by talking to yourself quietly, planning out loud, narrating what you're doing. It sounds crazy, but it maintains linguistic function and provides comfort, the temptation to give up or take stupid risks. I'll just walk the road for a bit, it's faster. That's exhaustion talking. That's the shortcut that gets you killed. You stick to the plan because the plan is what keeps you alive. If you're with others, you support each other. Rotate who leads. Share the mental burden of navigation and decision-making. Keep each other alert and motivated. Groups have advantage in psychological endurance. Common mistakes that turn 10 miles into never. Taking the obvious route because it's faster. Obvious routes are where gangs are. Fast and dead isn't better than slow and alive. Moving during peak activity times because daylight feels safer. Daylight means visibility. Visibility means detection. Darkness is your friend. Carrying too much weight. You get 3 miles in and you're exhausted. The pack is killing you. You should have packed lighter. Moving continuously without rest. You think you're tough. You push through. By mile 6, you're making stupid mistakes because your brain is fried from exhaustion and stress. Assuming all areas are equally dangerous, they're not. You take the same caution through low-threat areas as high-threat areas and waste time and energy. Confronting instead of avoiding. You see gang members and you're angry or scared. You think about fighting or challenging them. That's ego. Ego gets you killed. Avoidance is always better. Following someone else who seems to know where they're going. Maybe they do. Maybe they're leading you into an ambush. Trust is earned over time, not given to strangers in collapse scenarios. Giving up halfway because it's harder than expected. You're at mile 5. You're tired. You think about turning back. Turning back is the same distance as going forward. You've already paid half the cost, finished the journey, arrival, and post-movement. You're close, less than a mile to go. This is where people relax and make fatal mistakes. The most dangerous part is the end because you think you're safe. The final mile gets the same caution as the first. You don't sprint to the finish. You maintain discipline and tactics all the way to destination. As you approach destination, you observe before entering. Is it actually safe? Is it compromised? Is it what you expected? Sometimes destinations are no longer viable. You need to confirm before committing. If it's safe, you enter carefully. You're still in tactical mode. Only when you're inside secured and certain of safety do you transition out of movement mindset, post-movement recovery. You drink water, you eat, you treat any injuries, you sleep if possible. Your body just survived 10-24 hours of high-stress tactical movement. It needs recovery. After recovery, you assess what worked, what didn't, what would you do differently. Every journey teaches lessons. Those lessons save lives on the next journey. The bottom line: 10 miles isn't far. It's a morning jog in normal times. But when every road has gangs, when every open space is a kill zone, when every decision wrong gets you killed, 10 miles becomes an expedition. You make it by planning better than they expect, by moving routes they don't control, by traveling when they're not watching, by being quieter, more patient, and more careful than anyone they've seen. Roads are for people who don't understand the danger or who have no choice. You have a choice. You choose alleys, backyards, stream beds, railroad tracks, anything that keeps you off the gang highways. You move like water, taking the path of least resistance, flowing around obstacles, stopping when walls appear, finding new routes when old ones close. Flexible, adaptable, persistent. 10 miles at night might take 16 hours. That's okay. That's the cost of survival. Fast corpses don't win. Slow arrivals do. The gangs own the roads. Let them. You're not traveling their infrastructure. You're ghosting through the spaces between, the gaps in their control, the areas they can't patrol because they don't have enough people. You're invisible, you're silent, you're patient, you're disciplined, you're every trait that gets you across 10 miles of hostile territory and delivers you to your destination intact. People will say it can't be done. That gang territory is impenetrable. That movement is impossible. Those people are wrong. Movement is possible. It's just not easy. It's not fast. And it's not for people who want comfort and guarantees. It's for people who need to move and who understand that the only way through is to become better at infiltration than the gangs are at security. And that's achievable because gangs spread thin. They can't be everywhere. They can't watch everything. They have gaps. You exploit them. 10 miles. One step at a time. One segment at a time. One successful avoidance at a time. String together enough small wins, and you wake up having completed something that seemed impossible. The journey starts with a decision. The journey continues with discipline. The journey ends with arrival. Make the decision. Maintain the discipline. Achieve the arrival. 10 miles when every road has gangs isn't impossible. It's just tactical. Be more tactical than they are. Be smarter, quieter, more patient. Be the person who doesn't take roads, because roads are where people die. Be the person who arrives, because that's all that matters. Not how fast. Not how comfortable, just arrival, cross the 10 miles, survive the journey, arrive alive. Everything else is details.